Hello and welcome, friends of Dinokeng Game Reserve. This is Matt's Habitat, and I'm your host, Matt Templey. I'm a wildlife monitor for Dinokeng Game Reserve, and in this series, we uncover some of the remarkable stories on what it takes to make a place like Dinokeng Game Reserve work. Coming to you from the heart of Dinokeng Game Reserve, alongside this beautiful waterhole.
Answer the sky, basically.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Matt's Habitat with myself, Matt, your host. Today we have Sarah as our guest. Welcome, Sarah. Thank you for being with us and giving of your time. Could you quickly just introduce yourself and tell us quickly how you're involved in Dinokeng Game Reserve and what led you to be here?
Okay, my name's Sarah Solomon, and together with my husband, we run sound safaris. And basically what we do is, nature has so much to say, but we just need to learn to listen to it. So with our sound safaris, we eavesdrop on the wild. So we put a microphone on the game viewer and we connect everyone up with headphones, and you listen in to the amplified sound. So you can hear a whole lot of things that you can't hear with your ears alone. And we've been doing that for quite a while, in addition to sound recording, which we've been doing for a very long time. And we've come down to Dinokeng to have a look at running sound safaris here, specifically for blind and visually impaired people. Pretty much because we feel that blind people can't join a safari with sighted people because it's a hard mix. So our sound safaris are purely concentrated on sound, and we focus on listening into what everything has to say.
Yeah, that's very cool. Where have you done most of your sound safaris? Obviously, Dinokeng is a new destination. What attracted you? What was the big attraction to try and set up sound safaris within Dinokeng?
We've mostly been doing them around our hometown, which is Hoedspruit, so in the greater Kruger area. But the big plus of Dinokeng is its location to OR Tambo and to Gauteng as a whole.
Okay. So obviously guessed, we mentioned it earlier before this podcast that, visually impaired individuals might be a bit more of a struggle to get down to those kind of remote areas and all that, whereas Dinokeng,
Yes.
being close to town is probably a little bit easier and offers kind of the same thing,
For sure.
Did you always start doing sound safaris, or did you start doing tours first and then maybe see a need for the sound safaris, or a niche in the market or gap in the market?
Sure. So we've been running safaris for a long time, and we've been sound recording for ourselves. So we have a really extensive sound library of individual sounds and of soundscapes of nature, whether that be wildlife sounds or thunder or a river flowing. And on the safaris that we've done in the past, we've often had guests want to listen into what we're doing. So we've connected people up and we've just listened into nature. You can't really sound record with guests because it's impossible for people to keep quiet. But and then post COVID, when all the borders were closed, we set up concentrated sound safaris where sound is often an underappreciated element of a safari. And we'd really like to change that. We'd really like to get people to listen in, because there's a huge amount going on out there, all audibly, and we don't pay attention, and we should, because it's fantastic. It's fascinating and interesting, and people are missing out if they don't get into that aspect and enjoy it.
Yeah. Sarah, if you could paint a scene right now, what in your own experience, what would be a typical or an incredible scene out in the bush that people would be able to listen to? Or what would be your favorite moment, or has been a favorite moment for you that you've been able to listen into nature?
Okay, probably on one of our first sound safaris, we were out on a drive and it was after dark. So that was perfect because people weren't distracted by what they could see because they couldn't see anything. And we were parked close to a herd of elephants. So we had all this gentle rumbling going on. We could hear them brushing up against each other. We could hear them walking on the gravel road. So there's just sort of silence, and then you can hear these footsteps crunching on the road. And then in the middle of that, a pearl-spotted owl calls, and it's fantastic.
Yeah. What are some of the reactions that you have got from visually impaired people taking them out and them having experienced this type of safari before in a way that they've never experienced before?
Gosh. Well, I think one of the comments has been mind-blowing. Just to be surrounded by sound, and that's all it's about. And it's just, it exposes people to, blind and sighted people, to something that they haven't experienced or maybe haven't appreciated before. Yeah.
I think, we were talking before this as well, and at a place that I used to work, we had a similar kind of setup, and I was amazed. I mean, you've worked in the bush for so long, and you kind of get so used, or you think you get so used to the sights and sounds, but when you amplify it and you actually pay focused attention to sounds around you, you realize you actually weren't listening at all.
You see, Yeah,
I do
exactly.
know. So I think it's an incredible thing that you guys are doing, and if somebody wanted to come on these sound safaris, how can they contact you? Do you guys have a website?
We do have a website that it's dereksolomon.com. So all our details are on there, and there's information about sound safaris for sighted and for visually impaired people on there too.
Fantastic. One last question before we leave you. What is your favorite animal and why?
Okay. Easily elephant, because they have so much to say. That's all awesome. The time.
Fantastic way to finish. Sarah, thanks so much for your time and giving us an insight into the sound world and what you guys do. I think it's incredible. And long may it last. And until next time.
Thank you.